And oh my, oh shoot. Oh my god, are those mealies? I'm gonna freak out. Hello everyone, welcome to Anna with Plants. My name is Anastasia. Thank you so much for joining me for another video. I am so sorry if you guys are going to hear any squeaking in this video. My dog here, Luca, decided to join me in the plant room today and he's feeling a little vocal. He's half husky. Please don't mind his squeaks. Today I am bringing you a little bit of a time-lapse video. I did a really shite job doing this video, if I'm being completely honest. I wanted to do so many more updates and ideally there would be even another update after this one, but I figured with just how poorly this has been turning out overall, I might as well just pot it up and call it done. I'm sure you guys will see some updates down the road on my channel about this, but let me just explain what we're doing today. Okay, sorry, brief intermission, we're back. What was I saying? So a couple months ago, I want to say, I took some propagations off of my Hoya linearis. Oh my god, are those mealies? I'm gonna freak out. Tough to say. Definitely when I repot them, we'll add some granules in there because it could either be fertilizer stuff or yeah, tough to say. I don't know. We'll treat it anyway, just in case. But so this is my Hoya linearis. It's pretty long, but I just want it to be a little bit more full. So I took some propagations off of the ends and I will go ahead and insert the clip of me doing so. Hey everybody, it is September 22nd and we are going to be propping some linearis today. Let's just get started. I'm just gonna, there's a dead leaf. Okay. So this is my linearis. She is pretty big right now, but we want to get her even bigger. And so this is what you do when you want to get a full plant. Now comes the part of what strand that I want to cut. And I tend to go for the strands that are no longer growing. So I'm just going to go through the plant and see which ones are no longer actively growing because I would feel bad too. This one might be a contender. I definitely don't want to cut an actively growing one. You can, but I just kind of want the strands that are doing well to continue growing. Okay, this one's a good one to cut. I think I'm just gonna take a few leaves. Let's go right here. Okay, so this is the first strand. Take a couple off of her. Okay, second strand. Third strand. A lot of these are growing, which is honestly good. I might take a couple off of her. Okay. And then this is the fourth strand. So we'll see how many cuttings we can make from those 4 strands. I'm just gonna go ahead and put my plant aside right now. We're gonna do the 1 node method. It's also known as the butterfly method, where essentially you wanna take 1 node, 2 leaf, ideally, cuttings. Some of these are not 1 node, 2 leaves. This is what you want the cuttings to look like. That's why it's called that method, because it kind of looks like a butterfly. You get the idea now. And I am just going to go through all of the strands and take those cuttings and we'll see how many we have. I think it should be enough for the container. If you haven't propped this plant before, you're just going to want to cut on top of every single node like so. I'm probably gonna go ahead and speed this up since this is gonna take a while. Oh my gosh, you guys, look at this one. That one has a peduncle at the end of it. It obviously turned yellow, so it wasn't gonna flower. But my linearis is growing peduncles. Oh my god, that's so exciting. Oh my god. That just made me so happy because that is not one of the Hoya that are really easy to flower. You kind of have to have a mature one. So that is really encouraging to see that. I think that just made my day. We have all of our cuttings. Let's see how many cuttings we have. 1, 2, 3. We have 30 cuttings, give or take. We have this takeout container with a lid, and it is a pretty shallow one. You don't need a super tall one for linearis. And I am gonna take my mix. This is my tree fern pond mix. I have also done this with pretty much mostly tree fern and some pumice. So because the stems are quite long, I want to make sure that the substrate is going to be able to cover the stem all the way up to the node, because I don't know if you guys noticed, when I hold up a node, there are little tiny aerial roots on either side of the node. That is really what's going to help your cutting survive. It's a little bit of a tricky one to root. So I find that if you're able to bury the cutting, here, we'll start off with the first one. So I find if you're able to bury the cutting all the way up to that node that has the aerial roots on it, you see that little tiny white dot on the side of the node, that is an aerial root. And so I try to bury it all the way up to it, like so. And so if a stem is a little bit too long, I might want to cut it down just so I have it all the way down to the substrate. These leaves are actually quite long. I foresee some of the leaves wanting to rot off. That's fine. That's why having 2 leaves is ideal in this case. And because the stem is also not the strongest, I'm kind of like poking in a hole in the substrate, and then I put the cutting in, because if you just try to put the cutting in, I'm just going to cut down the stem a bit, because if you just try to put the cutting in without that, it's just going to bend and be awkward. Hopefully we have enough space for all of them. I'm sure they can squeeze. And you'll notice that I'm not really waiting for them to callus over. I really don't do that, but if you're super worried about it, then I would wait. Also, another tip is make sure your cuttings are in good shape, they're hydrated, because that'll just increase the chances of all of these props taking. I have definitely made the mistake to try to prop some cuttings that were not doing well, and it is that much harder to get them to root. And although I would love to be able to root each and every cutting that you see here, I know it's just the reality that some of these are not going to take and they're going to rot off and die. So that is why I am stacking this tray to the max, because we want to get as many cuttings as possible rooting. I think we are just about gonna fit everything. I'm gonna try to flatten some of the leaves as best as I can, because I don't want them touching the top of the container if at all possible. I think that's pretty good. Let me bring you guys up close. These are all of the cuttings. That is about 30 props in there. We'll see how many take once I update you guys later. We're just gonna water them through. You want to get the substrate wet, but because this is a no drainage style, you don't want it soaked. So that's pretty good. Just a reminder, you will have the top on it, so you don't have to water these quite as often either. Okay. So here we are. I try to not squeeze too many of the leaves under the lid, but there's just so many in there that this is the best that I can do. they're all potted up, all watered, and I will go ahead and update you guys within a few weeks, I'd say, give or take, and see how these are doing. Okay guys, I rearranged the camera angle just a little bit so you can see the mat down here in front of me. So this is what the propagations look like after. I'm gonna have to check the exact date of this, but I want to say it's been at least 2 months is my guess. Some of them have died off. You can kind of see the crispy leaves, and this is to be expected. I think we did over 20, so of course not all of them are gonna take, but honestly the vast majority of them took. I want to say like maybe 80%, so there is a lot of propagations to pot up, and you can also see a lot of them started to grow. So I should have filmed this a long time ago, but it's just been that kind of year for me. This is what we're going to be working with, and I think what I want to do is I want to unpot the linearis first. So this is kind of what I have in my head, a pot maybe this size, and then I'm just going to put the main plant in the middle, and then all of these new props can kind of go like around the edge. So the propagations are in my Pond tree fern fiber mix, and I believe this is in 100% Pond. It's like actually it's probably like a Pond pumice mix now that I look at it. I don't think I want to mess with the main plant too much because of how tricky it can be. There is quite a bit of algae on it. Darn it, I think there are mealybugs in the front. Yeah, so I'm gonna have to treat those. You see this little mealy here, and I think there are some other ones. I think they mostly stayed at the top. I don't really see any on the strands. Okay, so I'm gonna have to treat that, but okay, one thing at a time. This is what the pot looks like. Again, it's very algae ridden, and some roots did grow out the bottom. It is pretty dry. Even though I just watered it like yesterday, it looks pretty dry. Let's unpot this and see what it looks like. I'm gonna do the shimmy. Okay, a lot of the roots that were stuck onto the wick didn't make it, but that's okay. Honestly, pretty good. Yeah, I'm not gonna disturb these roots too much. Oh, one little prop fell out, but this is what the root situation looks like. They look good. You can see the granules here that I used, but it's been several months now. I think it's been like almost 4 months, so time to get some new granules in here and get rid of these mealybugs. I think it'll be a good transition into this pot. I just want to fill a lot of clay pebbles down at the bottom so it can kind of like grow down into it. Do I have them? Okay, so this is my leca. While I'm doing this, if you guys haven't noticed, the plant room looks pretty different. I do want to kind of do a new tour of it eventually. I spent like 3 hours yesterday basically just totally cleaning, reorganizing. We have some guests coming over, so I wanted to make sure that they had room to put like their air mattress in the plant room since we still don't have a bed. This is technically the guest room. And the plant room was a hot mess. There was so much just soil and rocks and plant debris. Now it's so much more tidy, thank the Lord. I thought about recording it, but I was just so in the zone that I didn't even want to get the camera out. So that's about how much I want to add, and I am gonna go ahead and put some of the substrate that the plant is more familiar with down at the bottom, and put like a layer of that, and I'm just gonna settle this here, add a little bit more. I'm actually gonna roll up my sleeves. Oh, by the way, if you guys are curious where I got this cardigan, because I don't know, I think it's cute. It's definitely like a statement with all these like 3D flowers on it, but I got it from Lulu's. I'll go ahead and add it in the description box. I believe they still have it on the website. Now we have the props. Move you aside for now. Oh, you know what? I have a pick somewhere. Aha, look at this tool. It came in like one of my clear prop containers, so I'm just gonna like fork it out. You know what? For how long these have been in here, I had expected them to be a little bit more rooted than this. Hopefully they'll be able to transition okay, because I've had them in relatively high humidity this whole time. Let's see how many actually survived. So right now we have 4. And while we're doing this, I'm just gonna shove. This is a pretty nifty tool. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, so 7. Honestly, I don't think the linearis grows really huge root systems, because even the main pot doesn't really have as many roots as I thought it would have. That is like the smallest propagation I've ever seen. So that's 11. 12. Look at this really long aerial root. 13. That's actually a pretty good root. $21. So I must have taken more than 20, because I know some definitely died off. Maybe 30. Okay, I'm gonna have to look back at that and then calculate what percentage of the propagations actually took. But I feel like that was a fairly high propagation rate. I'm not mad at that. 21 new props. We are about this high on the pot, and now I want to fill in all the props right over here. I'm gonna try to move this back a little so you guys can see slightly more. I don't think I want to move it to room humidity. I think that'll just really shock all the props, and I don't think they're gonna take, especially with how small the root systems are. I just, at this point, I don't feel good about it. It's actually pretty tricky to do without covering the leaves completely too. Should I just like sprinkle? Maybe sprinkling would help. Maybe I should have just dug like a tiny hole and put it in. That's what she said. As long as those baby roots are covered, that's all that matters. So this is what it looks like at this point. I have, I think like maybe 6 or a little bit more than that. So I'm just gonna dig a little spot. Oh, that was easier. Oh, that's probably what I should have done. Trying to make my life harder for no reason. I'm gonna have to start moving towards the front because there's like no space. For all of those of you that are curious why I'm like filming so far away from all my plants, I actually have a really great view right now. I'll go ahead and insert what the view is out my window, but it is like the epitome of fall. I just thought it would be nice to kind of gaze out at the nice fall leaves and whatnot while I film this video. So that is why the camera angle is a little different. Okay, we're on to our last one, right near the edge of the pot. I totally forgot this one that fell out. I'm gonna put it up here by the front. Right now, it's not gonna look like much. It's gonna go through a really awkward phase because it basically just got like a hair transplant essentially. But once all of the props start growing out and it'll be full 360, it'll look so much better. I did stick a little bit in the front, but the vast majority of the props are gonna be in the back. I hope that everyone is gonna be happy. I hope the original plant isn't gonna shock too badly. I'm gonna find a prop box to stick this in the meantime, so it'll just help the transition out. This is the new pot it's in. I think this was a 4-inch, so we upgraded to a 6-inch. And eventually I do want it to trail and hang. That is the goal here. But in the meantime, we're just gonna let this grow out and see what it does in a couple months. So I will keep you guys updated, that's for sure. All right, guys, that about does it for this video. I hope that you enjoyed. The next video that I am gonna film, it might either be today or in a few days. It's gonna be more of a chatty plant chores because I feel like I haven't talked to you guys in a while. I don't know why, so I kind of want to catch up. I kind of want to talk about Christmas since 'tis the season right now. So keep an eye out for that one in the future. I hope you guys have a great day, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.